Good morning and happy Thursday, everybody. This is Don Chakowski, the Director of Channel Sales for Fidelity National Title. I appreciate you taking the time to join us this morning, and we have a really great program planned today with some very valuable information for our partners. So I need to always remember, it's so funny as we do this, my StreamYard makes our stream private, which makes it difficult for people to share. So I need to really quickly go and edit the privacy so it can be done. And now that is done. So this week, the real estate community suffered a very big loss with the sudden loss of Del Rounds of RE/MAX Fine Property. And Sharon, I know that you've been very close with Del throughout your career, and I know you wanted to say a couple things and pay a little honor to Del this morning.
I did. Thank you, Don. Yeah, this has been a really tough week. Anybody that's been on Facebook or Instagram, I'm sure, has seen probably hundreds to thousands of people making comments on the loss of a wonderful, amazing man in the real estate industry. Most of my career, I've been in business 28 years. I've known Del Rounds for most of my career, and just a great partner, great friend, great father, great mentor, great coach. I can go on endlessly talking about Del Rounds. He tragically lost his life this Tuesday at a very young age, and leaves behind a beautiful family and a legacy of RE/MAX family, and folks that aren't even with RE/MAX that just have been reaching out, and the love that's been shown through social media this week's been incredible. I just want to extend, a moment of silence in honor of Del and his career. He's made our real estate industry better for the, I don't know exactly how many years, but I want to say maybe 30 plus years in the real estate industry. Just been a pleasure working with him, and we all hope that he's resting in peace today. And if we could just take a moment of silence, Don, and remember Del.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thousands of people making comments.
All right, thank you guys. Thank you everybody for that. And I know this loss has been felt across our industry, and yeah, it's a tough one. So
thank you all for doing that. Appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, we have a lot of exciting things to talk about today, though. So let's get going and hear about what's going on. And
I'd like to start off with some introductions and make sure that everybody who's joining us today knows who we have on. So I'm going to start off with Michelle Colbert, and Michelle is the owner and operator of the Rise Real Estate team at Keller Williams Integrity First. Michelle, thank you so much for joining us. You've been on as a guest, but now you're on as a panelist this week. So thank you.
Thank you for having me. I have big shoes to fill. So
I know, right? That's what everyone's like, where's Mindy? But I'll tell you what, Mindy teases us about how, Amber's always giving away money on here and all that. So maybe you got some free houses out here that we can do this week, or, this is the week inventory goes up. Well, we'll see when we get that market update. All right, thanks, Michelle. And then Miss Amber Kovarik of Guild Mortgage, thank you so much, Amber. And we know all about your nearly free money every week, and we're excited to hear the mortgage update, as we know that the nearly free money has been getting a little bit more expensive, but still really cheap money.
Yes.
So we're excited.
Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you. And then for those of you guys, I know everybody knows Miss Sharon Terhune. She is the Vice President of Sales with Fidelity National Title. Sharon, thank you for joining us.
Good morning, everyone.
And then this week we are really excited to have Mr. Donovan Reese. And Donovan is one of the co-founders of Renters Warehouse. and he has since left that to pursue new opportunities. And I know we're going to have you back this summer, Donovan, to kind of go into detail about some of the technologies that you're working on that are going to really help those who are looking at becoming landlords manage that process. But what Donovan is joining us today to talk about is just really some of the ways to talk to your clients about. So, it's great when you're out looking at homes or when somebody's thinking about selling their home. These are great opportunities for us. But what if we could help them buy more than one home? What if we could help them become investors and take advantage of the appreciation that we're seeing in the market? So, Donovan, we are really excited to have you on and to discuss some of those things that you're doing to help people become investors in our market that maybe haven't looked at that before.
Yeah, happy to be here.
And then Mr. Soroosh, he's like Cher, he goes by one name. And so Soroosh is with Venture REI and Easy Street, Easy Street Offers. And so, since we were talking investing today, Soroosh is working with some of the largest funds in the country that are buying homes. And so I know that right now we have, a lot of competition in the market. But think about it, if you were going to a listing appointment and you already knew you had buyers lined up for their home, like literal actual buyers that wanted to make offers. And so this is what Soroosh is going to talk about today, is how to bring those offers to your sellers or your potential sellers. So Soroosh, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So, okay. So let's dive in here. And so Donovan, I'm going to start with you a little bit, and then we're going to bounce over to Soroosh and talk about the buy boxes and what we're looking for and how people can get some of those offers. But Donovan, you've been around this for quite some time. You're actually, when I started working at Fidelity, you were one of the very first people that I met, and you actually came to a couple of offices with me and did some presentations about this very same topic. So can you tell us a little bit about that dialogue, about how to talk to somebody who's maybe looking for a family home, or maybe they're downsizing and they have a large amount of equity that they've got left over, and talk to them about becoming a real estate investor in Arizona?
Yeah, there's a lot of options when it comes to selling your house. And when we, we started Renters Warehouse in 2009 here, there was really only two options. If you were moving, it was foreclosing or short selling. So we came in and offered a third option. And since then, obviously people can sell their houses now. So we've seen a shift from those accidental landlords to people being more intentional landlords and getting into that because they want that cash flow or they want that passive long-term investment. So it's been a little bit of a shift in the market and how people are approaching that. But with rents rising like they are, it's a crazy hot rental market as well. Renting out your property, your existing one, is still a great option when moving up or moving down.
Okay, excellent. Well, and so I love that term, accidental landlords. I've never heard that one before, but we certainly saw a lot of that back in the day. So can you tell us a little bit about, like, I know that even for me personally, one of the fears about owning investment properties is, do I want to be a landlord? And so so can you tell us, like, what would be a good response to that, right? Like, I don't want to handle calls at 2:00 in the morning that the heat is out, and or I guess air conditioning being out here in Arizona is more likely to be an issue. But those are some of the fears that people are have about becoming a landlord. What do you tell people when they say that to you?
This is one of my biggest pet peeves in a soapbox I could easily get on. So, unfortunately in this industry, a lot of it is fear-based selling, and talking about what happens when your renter doesn't pay or those silly maintenance calls in the middle of the night. And I started doing some research, and actually across all markets, across all types of properties, whether that's D-class apartments in Detroit or multi-million-dollar homes here in Paradise Valley, the eviction rate is at 2.3%. And I read that and I said, wow, that's a lot lower than I thought it would be. Now,
what was that number again?
2.3%.
Wow. Yes, that's amazingly low. Way less than I would even think.
Right. And it hasn't gone up all that much this year either, actually. On the single family space, the apartment has been a little bit more challenging. But in my career, I oversaw the leasing of over 25,000 single family homes, and our eviction rate for me was under 0.1%. And I've taken what I've learned over the last 12 years to drive that number down. But what I found is that because of the fear that people are scared of their tenants, and it creates this unnecessarily adversarial relationship where the clients I work with, we start with the end in mind, and I'm big on loving what you do. And so what we do, everything that we work on is finding great renters and loving great renters. And when you find really good renters and you have a great relationship with them and you set that up correctly, it's really not that bad. It's great. I love my renters. And, because of that, I get less of those middle of the night maintenance calls. They stay longer, they pay more rent, and it makes it more of a passive investment. But changing that mindset to really finding great renters, loving them, taking care of them, and they'll love you back. They'll love your investment back. And it's not a scary thing at all. It's exactly the opposite of that.
Yeah, well, and I think, right now, more than ever, we're seeing appreciation at such a remarkable rate that if you have an opportunity, what's going to give you a 20% return on investment, like we've seen in 2020 for that appreciation in Maricopa County. Furthermore, you got somebody else paying your mortgage, so your initial investment is I don't know, I'm not smart enough to be able to do that kind of math. Soroosh probably is over here, but that is a really amazing rate of return. So it is such a great opportunity and something that I plan on taking advantage of as well. But I do think that those fears are part of what stop people. I know for me at times that's really been it. When it comes to the property management piece of it, do you recommend people outsource that, or is that something that people can do themselves? Is that something you have a solution coming up on? So little carrot for you there, Donovan.
I appreciate that. Yes, I do have something coming out here at alpha stage here in the next couple of weeks to a month. I think as far as a property management company or doing it yourself, it's really a personal preference. I think a lot of people do use a property management company because they are afraid of having those difficult conversations that come with having renters. I'm really big on setting everything up front. And if you set it up correctly, the management should be very simple, very easy to do. And so the work done up front is really what makes or breaks the relationship. I've always said you have one chance to make a great first impression. And so clean your house, set it up correctly, price it well, and you are going to get great renters. And I also teach some different conversations and some different upfront contracts to really frame the relationship, and so it goes very well. But on a return on investment, Soroosh and I talk quite a bit too, and looking at how to get just a little bit more money out of your rental, and clean properties, you can get $100 or more than what the market is showing. And one of the interesting things I've found with working with a lot of institutions and with Soroosh is how much a $50 or $100 increase in a monthly rent can affect what you can take home on that. It literally can be $25,000 to $50,000 or possibly more. So when people get hung up and saying, they get into the weeds and nickeling and diming on a cleaning where it maybe costs you $500, you could get $50,000 more out of that. And so it's not just as much with talking about appreciation and having the exits there, really having a great property with great renters that are paying the top of the market is an incredibly great return on your investment there as well.
Yeah, and Donovan, I think that actually circles it back around from Don's original question on the fear of what renters are going to be in my house and what's going to happen. If you do take on a property manager, obviously those fears kind of go away because someone else is vetting out the way that they professionally know how to do that, someone to be in your home, and making sure they're collecting, the rents, and that they're the maintenance on the property and things like that. So I think that takes a lot of that. I mean, would you agree? A lot of that fear out of being an investor.
Absolutely. There's a lot of great property management companies here in the Valley that do a great job, and that's what they do, and they can have those conversations and set it up correctly for you, and really let you be the passive investor that a lot of people want to be.
And we get more investors in the market, right?
Right. So speaking of investors, Soroosh, I know your piggy bank right now is bursting. You guys have some money to spend on properties here in Arizona, and so can you tell us a little bit about who you're buying for, and then maybe start to give us a little insight into what those properties, what that buy box is.
So currently we have, without going into details on each one by one, I'll just kind of give you the broad strokes. Collectively, they've raised, and this is to fund this year, close to $3 billion in 10 markets. Could be 3, could be 3.5. And that's over, again, between Phoenix, Atlanta, Dallas. There's several other markets as well. So they have a really large bogey. This isn't the first time they've done this. Obviously, the last time some of the players, it was 2011-12, and if you were buying any real estate back then, you'll know that you could buy an entire street in Maryvale for $100,000, which you can't find a property for under $250 there anymore. But anyways, so that's they're actively buying really anything 1945 or newer. And I'm giving you kind of the strokes of all of them at one time. There's no point in giving you the specifics of each one because they have different buy boxes. But the large stroke is 1945 or newer. 3-bedroom is required by all of them. 1 3/4 bath. So 3-bedroom plus. Doesn't have to be just 3 bedrooms. So 3-bedroom or more. 1 3/4 or more. They will buy with carports. They will buy without garages. They will buy with a pool. Again, some will, some won't. But in general, just if it has a pool, we do have a buyer for it. Send it over. The only thing that they are pretty strict about is good old leased solar. So leased solar is the gift that keeps on giving, and it's an auto decline unless it's unless they own it and they don't want to take it. They will factor in having it removed and having the roof redone. So there is still an out for that solar. A lot of people don't know you can just take the lease with you. You signed it for 25 years. Take it with you. And then all of a sudden your property will probably sell a little faster than you thought. So, but yeah, so that gives you kind of an idea of the buy box. You can go ahead and got a question.
Yeah. So Soroosh, so here's the one thing, like when we talk about investors, everybody's like, and I think that might be what a lot of consumers think as well. It's like, oh, I'm getting an investor offer, lowball offer. So can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So currently, we are offering at a minimum at the asking price on the MLS, and that's right. At a minimum. So these guys they're pushing kind of what Donovan said, right? If you deliver a better product, if you can add some bells and whistles, you can push the rents $50, $100. That's not out of the question. It's actually probably Donovan does it on every single house that he sends out. He's able to get that little $50 or $100. That adds up when you're talking about a cap rate and all that stuff. So we're able to buy at and or above asking price, I would say, on 98% of everything that we're offering. So the whole stigma about, hey, investors going to, it's a low ball offer, so that's why we always ask agents, when you send in to Easy Street Offers, give us an asking price, give us a realistic asking price. Like, if you're asking for, $40,000 over what it's going to appraise for, let's try to be realistic. We'll put our best foot forward. We're on a daily basis. We're in a highest and best situation. And, pretty much every day for the last 45 days, we bought 2 to 3 houses per day. So as everyone knows, the market is crazy. There's no way you're buying houses every single day unless you're making very, very competitive offers. So I think that answers that.
Yeah. So what about locations? So are we looking Maricopa County? We're looking Maricopa Pinal County. Are we looking like Queen Creek, Santan Valley? Are those Maricopa, that part of where we're buying? So what are our geographic restrictions?
We don't have any.
Nice. That's a great answer.
Yep. So from Pinal to El Mirage to Goodyear to, you name it. If it's Maricopa County or Pinal, that might expand here soon, but we'll wait for that announcement when it happens. But currently, those 2 markets, there's going to be some areas where, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Maricopa, but Maricopa has their taxes. I've been told by a few people that their buildings out there, the public buildings are beautiful because they definitely collect their fair share of property taxes out there. So there's going to be some areas that maybe are a little bit higher taxes and so on and so forth. And regardless, we're still making competitive offers. The buyers are buying at such a low cap rate that they're aggressive. That the money we talked about at the very beginning, the $3.5 billion, that's earmarked for 2021. Not, hey, let's spend this over the next 5 years. Like, that's this year. So our goal is to, get out in front of the agents, get the pre-MLS, and this is probably a good time to pivot into Easy Street Offers. So when you go out to easystreetoffers.com, you will get an offer from our institutional buyers. We ask for just some very general information, whatever to the best of your knowledge. If you know what the condition of the property is, awesome. Bedroom, bathroom, obviously is important. And if you have pictures, great. If you don't, that's fine too. And the most important is asking price, because our goal is to get you an offer at the asking price. And so that way, when you walk into, maybe it's a listing appointment, you haven't even signed the listing yet, you have a full price offer. And what a lot of these funds are doing now, the flexibility is unreal. Before, we had to, ask for, it wasn't very friendly. Let's just leave it at that. Now, we'll do 7-day inspection. We prefer 10, but we'll do 7-day inspections. We will do a post possession for 3 days up to 30 days. We'll actually lease the property back from you for 12 months. So we'll close on it and you can actually stay there for an additional 12 months. Obviously, you have to get qualified and da-da-da-da. But they're basically pulling out all the stops. So there isn't really too many requests that I've had outside of somebody wanting 60 days of free rent. That one was a tough one. But I think we ended up settling, and they paid a fair market value for 30 days. They understood. Of course, the sellers can always ask for the moon and the stars, and so sometimes we can only, deliver as much as we can. But it was for the most part, they're doing everything they can. So, Easy Street Offers, again, you'll get an offer back usually within 48 hours. Excuse us if we're not as timely on Saturday and Sunday, but you will get an offer back by Monday, and I think it's definitely a good bullet in your gun. You can go out there. And again, some of these like leasebacks, post possessions, an end user or an end buyer is they fall in love with the house and they want to move in, bring their family and their dog and right? Unfortunately, we're not emotional about it. It's plug and play. Numbers come in, numbers come out. We're closing on 98% of everything we have contracted. 98%.
Wow.
So the 2%, you know what the 2% is? A house that probably shouldn't have been contracted because it has so much damage to the house. Foundation, very, very, they scope the plumbing and all of a sudden it's galvanized steel and so on and so forth. So we're closing on a high amount. Use our offers to get out there to the sellers. And, if they've got a new build in 6 months, would you rather close on it today, have the money in your bank account instead of paying that mortgage and you're going to pay some rent? I know some people, we've gotten deals, and that's the only reason I bring it up, because it happens regularly. And for the agent, you got paid and you can go off to the next one. You don't have to sit around and wait to sell this one. So that gives you a little bit of Michelle?
I have a question.
Yes,
ma'am. What are your inspection periods looking like? So as far as like your bins or requests and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So I know getting a few offers from very similar buyers like yourself lately on my listings. Their bins or requests are as is condition and very minimal, or like $1,000 for paint or something like that. What is your typical request within a Benzer on those things?
We'd fall in line with that. I mean, we regularly put as is if it's requested. The other funds, they'll only buy 1980 or newer or 1990 or newer, most of them. So we do actually go down to 1945 with one of the funds. So the 1945 to 1979, that threshold right there, the plumbing is scoped on every single property. So with the plumbing scope, that sometimes you just never know what's underneath the house. A lot of those houses had galvanized steel. It could be working today, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's. So that is the oddball one that does come up. Yeah, there's only one fund that's buying that old of an asset. So we kind of have that segment where we're seeing more and we're pretty competitive. But overall, 1980 or newer, we rarely have any reductions. So,
Sharon, it looks like you have a question as well.
Well, I think Soroosh ended up hitting on some of it. I was really going to ask him about what that process, the ease of the process looked like working with like Easy Street Offers compared to just a traditional real estate transaction. Obviously, we hit on some of that. You're making cash offers, so appraisals aren't necessary.
Right. Yeah. We don't do appraisals.
You don't have to deal with any of that. But I was going to just ask you to elaborate on, for the real estate community out there, and you mentioned one, you got to, quick closing, real estate agent gets paid. Are there any other scenarios that maybe make it easier and quicker? And what is that turn time on closing with you guys as well?
So we ask for 21 days. That's usually about as fast as they would like to move. Now, they could possibly move faster. What happens is they do look up they need the CC&Rs, and they also need the HOA to confirm that they can have a 12-month lease. There's very few HOAs that don't allow it, but they do come up. So that's kind of why, and due to just the volume, I mean, you buy 2-3 houses a day, they just start stacking up. So all of a sudden you have 60, 70, 80, in escrow. And so we try to space them out for everybody's sanity, including our team here. So 21 days, no appraisal. In regards to, the paperwork is all standardized, AAR stuff. The inspection process is pretty flexible. We get in there, usually we try to get in there within 72 hours if we can. Obviously that's easier if it's vacant or not. So the inspection, we can move a little bit faster if we need to. but that's usually pretty standard as well. And then it's not really any different than a lot of just regular transactions, except for the speed, the convenience. It's cash. You don't have to worry about an appraisal. Those are really the kind of the big ticket stuff that really will make it stand out. Because what I'm seeing a lot of, and we do have some agents here as well, and I'm sure Michelle could probably with some of her listings, we got to love the $30,000 over, or $325 on a $300 asking price with an FHA buyer. I see that a lot recently, more than I've ever seen it in my career. And we know it's not going to appraise for $325. And usually maybe they'll put some type of a $5,000 something in there that they'll go over appraisal. But in reality, do you want to go through all of that with somebody that is only putting 3% down anyways? Or do you want to, somebody that offers 305, it's cash, there's no appraisal. So those are some things that I'm seeing, and hopefully that'll help. And that's, a lot of the deals we're getting, the sellers are pretty smart. The agents that are listing are obviously smart and doing their job when they're presenting these offers, but it just seems to be the new latest and greatest trick is let's offer, some crazy high number and and at least just get it locked in. So I get it on the buy. I'm not a buyer's agent. You couldn't pay me enough to do that right now in this market.
Well, it's a great prospecting resource though as well. So even if it's something you guys don't want to buy, walk into call somebody and say, I have somebody ready to buy your house right now, cash, and then if that doesn't work, there's always the backup of listing it traditional and going and doing their thing. So
yeah, that's what our agents do that every day here. So they'll get an offer from us. They go out, we do a 2-step process before we do a listing presentation. Our guys will actually go out there and do some pictures and get some additional information so the fund can make a better offer. And they'll actually come back out and they'll present and they'll have, everything. They'll have our offer, they'll have the open doors and offer pads and everybody else. That way the seller can be well informed. And at the end of the day, our agents are just like any other agent. They want to get the listing. If it goes to us on the other side as the buyer, great. If not, they still they look very well informed and in touch with the market and all their options.
So Soroosh, as far as because we've seen such a rise in home prices, what are we seeing as a max purchase price with all the different buyers you're working with?
The buy and hold guys are capped in the threes, 350, 400 range. We still do go up to about 500. So we'd like to see it. We'll usually tell you kind of right away if it is, something that's outside. I try to make it simple. If you start giving the agents too much, like when it comes to buy box and this stuff, they kind of overthink it. It's just get it, send it. It'll take you, the submission process is like all of 3 minutes if you have the info, monsoon pulled up. So it's not something that we're asking you to, go through it with a fine tooth comb and give us all this, that, and whatever else. So, in general, I would just say when in doubt, just send it. We do have other buyers that do fix and flips. We do have other buyers and that will, we actually buy properties as well. So, if there is a $500,000, $600,000, $800,000 property, we'll do that as, there's definitely options available.
Okay, excellent. And then, so as far as the, and this is a very fair question that I think a lot of agents have, how do they get paid? So the cleanest and easiest way is get a listing agreement. That way you're locked in. What our agents have done in the past, when somebody's interested in the fund to offer, they'll actually just do like a 30-day listing agreement, and they'll do they'll specify the buyer kind of in the additional terms of the listing agreement. And that's just if the seller is just like, I only want to do it if they buy it type of scenario. But in general, a listing agreement
we usually take 2.5% on our side. That seems to be the norm these days. If you can get, more than 5, then awesome for you. Take the 3 or 3.5. We don't care. We're volume based, so we could definitely. That's.
So the important thing here, though, is that the agent gets to determine that like normal, right? So so that they're not pigeonholed into a lower than what we typically see in the market commission when it comes to that, and I think that's fair, and that's a really good opportunity for our agents out there to still continue to make their living and not be feeling that commission compression that we talk about so much.
Yeah, there's definitely in a worst case scenario, we can have the buyer pay the commission and work it out with the agent. It's just the buyer's not going to usually pay 6%.
Right.
We can get them to pay 3%, but at the end of the day, it just lowers the offer by 3%. So.
Right. So the money's coming from somewhere.
The money's always coming from somewhere.
Yeah.
So it's better just to be transparent with the seller. You get the one-off seller that's just, I don't want to pay an agent. Okay, no problem. Here's the offer. But otherwise, we try to be as flexible as we can.
But this is a really great tool. And Michelle, somebody like you who calls on as many for sale by owners as you do, this is a great, right? So sorry, not to give away your secrets. Just thinking out there for you. That's just doing it in front of everybody in the world. Don't worry.
Nice, Don.
Yeah.
Like my for sale by owners.
But well, excellent. Well, Soroosh, I know you got to go. I appreciate you taking the time with us today. If you need to get hold of Soroosh, first you can submit properties at easystreetoffers.com to get those offers. If you need to get a hold of Soroosh, you can reach out to any of us here on the panel today, and we are excited to get you connected. Donovan?
Yeah, one thing I want to say before Soroosh leaves, we kind of touched on it quickly, was that and I didn't know this, and it's great to know, but that they will lease the property back for 12 months. That's huge, I think, in this market, and a great opportunity for a lot of listing agents I talk to every day that have a lot of people that want to sell, but they don't want to become buyers right now. And so if they can capitalize on the market where it's at now and not have to become buyers, stay in the property, I think that's a huge opportunity for a lot of listing agents to get their listing sold, get paid, and provide a great resource for their clients as well.
Agreed. Yeah, absolutely. So and that's a great point, Donovan. So and Soroosh, let me ask one more on that note. If somebody does a 12-month lease, do they have to fulfill that lease if they're to find another property? If they do a 6-month or a 12-month in between, is that where they can get out of it early if they need to, or is it just kind of like a standard lease?
Yeah. So if they know, and if they're hunting for a home actively, and they say, hey, we want 6 months, but we want a 30-day out, so they just have to give a 30-day notice.
Okay.
A 12-month lease with a 30-day out, I've never seen that request. But like I said, they're doing things that I've not seen them do before, just because of where the market is at, and they want to buy houses. So you can always ask, but in general, it's no problem. Whatever. I'll leave you guys with this. So my conversations with agents go like this: yes, can you do? Yes, can you? Yes, and usually they don't even get the question out. So just ask. We'll do whatever we can to get a deal, obviously within reason, but in general, that's kind of the world of the real estate in 2021.
Falls under the everything's negotiable category. So Soroosh, thank you so much. Appreciate you. Donovan, before we move to Amber, I wanted to ask one more question that I failed to ask earlier, and that's about rent prices and what we're seeing for rents in the Valley right now. What are you seeing around that? As far as I know, we're seeing increases, but do you have any ideas off the top of your head, to what degree that's happening?
I know they're crazy right now as far as what that actual number is on the increase. I don't have that offhand, but
sorry, totally putting you on the spot.
Oh no, it's fine. It's as crazy as the sales market right now. Both of
Yeah.
them are incredibly hot right now.
Yeah, excellent. Okay. So Amber, we need money. We need lots of money, and you're the girl to get it from. So
Yes, I am.
so tell us what's going on out there in the mortgage world.
The cost of the money has been moving. So in the last 2 decades, there's only been 6 months where we've seen interest rates go up by 50 basis points. And that happened last month in February. So it was one of the worst months we've ever seen in the bond market with how quickly that interest rates rose. And so anytime that something goes up that fast, there's usually something that's going to cause it to come back, because that wasn't normal movement. And especially there wasn't anything necessarily happening that caused this. It was like a combination of a bunch of things that we've talked about, but not anything that really would substantiate that kind of a move up. So now today is day 3 of the market starting to move more sideways. So the worst of it may be over. We may start to see more like sideways movement with interest rates, and then potentially even like a drop, but probably just for a short period of time, like a blip. So we have clients that missed their refinance opportunity. They didn't quite pull the trigger fast enough because this seemed to happen overnight. And then, so we just kind of have them on a watch list right now. So if you're one of those that missed out on a refinance, or you know someone who is, it's a good time to make sure that your lender partner's got you like on a watch list ready to pull the trigger if and when they do come back down for a little bit, because the analysts I watch say it'll probably be short term, and then we could see them even go higher than they are right now, as they're just trying to figure out where they're going to land in 2021 with everything that's going on. So 30-year fixed right now is probably sitting somewhere around like a 3.125, which, like you said earlier,
3.125, which is an amazing number.
Yes. That's what I'm reminding clients of, right? I'm reminding them, like I talked to a client last night and we locked her in, and her credit score was below a 740. So she was at 3.25. And she was like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. And I was like, you lock in. Like, this is still an all-time low interest rate. People were dying to get a rate in the 3s just before 2020, right? This was like considered one of the lowest rates we've ever seen. And we got spoiled by having a 2 in the front of it. But it was kind of like when we got spoiled when the house market was on sale in 2011 in Arizona. And then everybody was like, oh, but my friend bought a house for this much that was like this a few years ago. And it's like, well, yeah, that ship has sailed. Like, we might not ever go back there again, right? Like, we had this opportunity in 2020 with rates in the 2s, and we're probably going to be now in the 3s. Still incredible. Still means it's an amazing time to buy. And we're still just continuing to talk to our clients that are calling in about refinances, because we still have almost as many people wanting to refinance, not as many people it making sense for. And so we're just asking them more questions about, hey, so the house that you're in right now, is it meeting your needs? Like, is this a home that you consider that you're going to be in for a long time? And if they say something like, well, I don't know, my husband's working from home now, and we don't know if he's going to go back in the office, and he works in the, bedroom, or, we had a kid and we need an extra room. Or I talked to a client that's like, we had a kid and now the playroom is the family room because we don't have enough space. Then we're just kind of taking it one more step to say, have you talked to whoever their realtor was about the amount of equity you have in your home? Because in our opinion, this could be one of the most amazing times for you to look to sell your house in one of the best sellers markets, net a high price for your home, take that equity and roll it into a house that has the playroom, that has the home office, that has the pool that you always wanted. So if the refinance doesn't make sense for you right now, and you have any thoughts of wanting to move in the next couple of years, maybe we look at that. Let's see if we can qualify you to buy before you sell. Let's see what we can do to help you be active in this market that is so incredible right now, that is tough, but that could get you into the house of your dreams, the one that better meets your needs and your desires.
I think that's, it's so important to look at that, that right now, it's so funny because in my time at Fidelity, I've seen so much happen, right? We've seen these interest rates go down so much. We've seen the appreciation go from, like, wow, that's pretty awesome. We've got great appreciation, to holy cow, how much? And so it's funny because we kind of teased Mindy and we were putting Michelle on the spot today for more inventory. But the one thing that they definitely brought on their market updates is appreciation. And that we're seeing that at record paces in Arizona. And it's a great time to own property here. I know nationally, but in Arizona specifically, things are going really well for property owners.
We are very popular right now in Arizona, and it's kind of like, reminding them that your home equity is monopoly money, right? It's going to go up or down. So does it make sense for you to cash out right now and to take those proceeds and put money? I mean, the stories we have of people that bought a home that better meet their needs and were able to take some of the proceeds and put them against credit card debt and free them of financial obligations, like help them get back on track financially because of how much more they could sell their house for right now. And it's not without some pain, right? Figuring out how are we going to find you a house and can you stay in it? And do we need to use someone to help us make this all happen? But it's worth the conversations. And I think the more we have them, the more we can hopefully unlock some inventory, help bring some homes to our market. So it's an interesting time. I think all these conversations we're having about how to make strong offers and, are you a potential seller at some point? It's just the nature of the game right now.
Yeah, I agree. So, well, thank you for the update. And we appreciate that you're always looking out for our money. So thank you so much for that. Donovan, yes.
Real quick too, and she said about taking advantage of the equity that you have. Now is a great time if you have a lot of equity to pull some of that out and buy some rental properties.
Yeah, and I think that's important too, Donovan, and I appreciate you bringing that up. So Amber, can you tell us about the financing around if I wanted to buy a second, third, fourth, fifth, eighth home, what that financing looks like?
Yeah, so 20% down on an investment property. And, you're looking at rates in the 3s still on an investment property, which is absolutely incredible, right? Such an amazing opportunity. And on a rental, we can use rental income on that property without even having a lease agreement in place to help offset the payment. So the borrower doesn't have to qualify for that whole payment. We can use a rent schedule from the appraiser to help offset some of that for them.
That's amazing. That's awesome. And Donovan, thank you so much for bringing that up because I really wanted to make sure we touched on that today as well, is that this is that time where, so maybe moving's not really what you want to do. Maybe that's, maybe you're happy with your house and it still works well for you and your family, but you built up so much equity here, in this time, taking out a cash out refi and taking that money and investing that into additional properties. So now instead of having one property appreciating at, as we saw last year, at 20%, you've got multiple properties that are doing that for you, and just really great time to take advantage of that. So thank you both for that feedback. And okay, so Michelle, you are up. How are we looking out there? Did we find a bunch more inventory since Mindy was here last week?
No, it actually went down. You're welcome. So I pulled up today, I pulled up in the MLS, the active listings in Maricopa and Pinal County. I only pulled Maricopa and Pinal. Active is 3,575. You take
combined?
Out, yeah.
The two counties combined?
Yep.
Wow.
So you take out new construction from that bucket and you're at 3,252 active listings. You're welcome. Wow. I'm giving you guys some good news. The good news is that it's Thursday, and Thursday and Fridays are the days for listings to go live. So I do anticipate them to go up today and tomorrow slightly, just so you know. And just to put that in perspective, so last year we were talking about how the inventory was also low last year, year over year. It's actually down 59.2% compared to last year at this time.
It's one more time?
59.2% lower than what it was last year.
So less than half.
Yeah, 100%. Correct.
Unbelievable, really.
Yeah. I'm not so good at the math, but yeah, that's a big number.
So the good news is that the actual number of pendings from last year is up 5.4%. So the inventory is just moving faster than it was last year. So,
and I think that's important to take away from that, right? That it's not that there's no houses available. It's that the houses are going under contract quickly and moving from a new listing to a pending very quickly, which means that is the process of being closed. So
it also means too that probably not everything's going through MLS. That's the other piece of that too. That's why you're seeing so much transactions, but our inventory is still so low. You're going, where are these houses coming from? They're not in MLS, and that's the problem. So
yeah.
Absolutely. So the average price per square foot last year at this time was around $185 a square foot. This year it's around $228 a square foot.
That is a huge increase.
That's up 23.1%.
Wow.
In the last 12 months.
So following Donovan's advice, we're going to go see Amber. We're going to refi cash out our houses. We're going to go try to find those houses quickly. We're going to get connected with an amazing partner like Michelle, who's going to be able. And Michelle, I see what you do. I see your activity out there on the off-market properties, and that you guys within your company do a great job of networking with each other, of what's coming and going, and all those, and uncovering those. So those are properties that aren't hitting the MLS. So taking those and then taking advantage of a 23% increase in price per square foot year over year. That's amazing.
And kind of repeating what Mindy said in the last few weeks, right now we're seeing appreciation or anywhere between 2 and 3% per month. I think last week Mindy mentioned for the month of January, it was at 3% for the entire month of January was the appreciation rate. And people would think in a stable market, 3% a year is good still, right? So we're talking about 3% a month. And so what we're talking about with clients, though, is with interest rates kind of going the way they're going, which meaning they're sticking around the low 3s still, and the appreciation rate being around 2 to 3% a month, buyers who are saying, I want to wait till the market goes down a little bit, that's not really going to be necessarily the best case scenario. We don't foresee the prices taking a dramatic dip anytime in the near future. Demand has kind of slowed slightly, but it literally we need seven months worth of inventory before it even becomes stable in today's market.
Well, and we're going into the traditional busy season, right? So when we flip our calendars to March, we know that's when a lot of people start looking to get those closings as the school years end. So March, April, those are feeding us for our April, May, June closings, and we know that's typically what we see. So it's unreasonable to think that it's suddenly going to have an increase in inventory in the next couple of months.
You may see more homes go on the market, but you're going to see those homes go off the market just as fast as they're going on the market.
Right.
So you will see an increase, quote unquote, in inventory. However, it won't stay high. It'll be high. The highest days of inventory will be Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah.
Monday morning, they'll be high. Monday afternoon, they'll all be gone.
So, and then my $400,000 house that I'm looking at, if I wait until April, that same house might cost me $412,000.
100%, yes.
Yes, that's important.
And as a seller, if you're also looking to buy, the market you sell in is also the market you buy in. So if you're a seller stating, I want to wait until April because I want to appreciate, at least 6% more, understand that you are also going to be paying 6% more in appreciation down the road too. So it's a conversation you have to have in solutions. So I've been telling everyone around me that this isn't a market. Everyone's always like, oh, real estate's a game where you have to work, smarter, not harder. Well, I call baloney on that right now. You have to work smarter and harder in today's market. I don't care who you are or what you do. You work smarter and harder.
Right. Yeah, for sure. And that's thank you so much for the update. I think that it's just amazing. It's a great time to be in this business. Working harder is a part of it though, right? So, that's a concern for so many people because, getting these buyers in. I was talking with somebody this morning about buyers and they're like, I just don't know, like, that I want to work with buyers. I'm like, I get it. However, that it still pays, right? So it's important. So we don't want to give up on that part. And you have that opportunity to have that conversation about, what if you can take that buyer and help them see the value of owning multiple properties and investing?
Well, going back to Donovan's thing too, sorry, Sharon, about investing. So investing is a huge part of my personal plan this year and what I've established. And so my husband and I are going to be buying 2 investment properties this year. And what you have to do is you have to create your scenario. And in today's market, are you looking at your cash on cash return on what your monthly rent amount is going to be? Or are you looking at the long haul as far as equity buildup? Because it might not make sense if you're looking cash on cash month to month as an investor right now, but it will make sense on long haul investment. So what is your game plan? What is your plan that you're looking to achieve when buying one of these investment properties? I think that's a big thing when you're working with an investor that's just starting out. What is do they want monthly residual income? Do they want, a retirement income? What do they want from that?
Yeah, for sure.
Right. All I was going to say, Michelle, something when you made the comment about not everybody wanting to work with buyers and stuff, but honestly, leveraging your buyers to get listings is golden. I mean, it's kind of a catch-22. When the market shifts, you're going to be looking for buyers to go take out to, I have listings available. You know what I mean? So it's never a perfect thing, but if you leverage what you have at hand, whether you have lots of buyers, you have lots of listings, and take that to go get more business, it's always a win-win situation.
Yeah.
And I think
that's something we are doing. It's something we are doing. So we are taking our buyer needs and we are going specific. So we have a buyer looking in East Mesa. They want a pool. They want a minimum 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 2-story home. I'm going to go to East Mesa in a neighborhood I feel like they liked a lot. And I'm going to knock on every 2-story door that I see and say, I have a buyer. This is the criteria. This is their price point. Is it something you're open to doing? But be specific. You can't just say, I have a buyer looking in your neighborhood.
Yeah, correct.
No, I have a buyer looking for this, 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 and this, and this.
Yep.
Are you willing, or who do you know that's a neighbor that's willing? Like, you have to be specific, in my opinion.
What's nice about that, Michelle, is that even if, right, so if they're looking for a 4-bedroom with a pool, and you're talking to a neighbor who has a 3-bedroom, no pool, they're still, they're like, oh yeah, sorry, our house doesn't fit that. We were looking at selling within the next, you still get into that conversation, right? It still goes down the right path. So it doesn't have to be that their house is a match, because really, if we're ready to generate a listing from it, we still have that opportunity.
You also have opportunity to follow up and say, thank you for your time. Sorry, my buyers didn't fit your criteria. If you're looking to sell, whatever. I mean, you now opened, the door of introduction for future.
What I think it does is it breaks down the wall, the barrier wall. So it doesn't come off as salesy when you have specifics. It breaks down that wall and builds trust automatically.
Yep. Agreed.
So, our time is coming to an end. Donovan, I did want to share something with you, though. It looks like you've got a little bit of a fan club out there. So, we've got Dina over here. We've got Ed. We've got the Donovan Reese fan club going out there. So,
love it.
Love it.
Excellent. Well, you guys, I appreciate it. Our time goes so quick. Does anybody have anything coming up and that they need to mention? Any events or anything like that we've got coming up? Amber?
I have a database event that is coming up tomorrow. We can put it in the Facebook chat if you want to learn better how to drive a stream of referrals from your database tomorrow at 10 a.m.
Excellent.
Sounds like a great class. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I appreciate everybody's time today and appreciate you joining us. Donovan, I'm looking forward to the new technology that you've got coming out, and we're very excited to have you back as we're ready to unveil that. And Michelle, thank you so much for taking the time to help us out today and fill in. Mindy had a commitment. She does a really great job of holding this time available. She had something come up that she couldn't move today. So Michelle, thank you. And for those of you guys who don't know, Michelle's agreed to be our on-call fill-in person if she's available.
She's always welcome.
Yeah. So So, okay, well, everybody have a great day. Thank you for your time today, and look forward to seeing you guys. Have a great weekend. Next week, we're going to be talking about one of the largest real estate conventions in the country and some of the great takeaways that came from that. So thank you very much, and we'll see everybody soon. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Thanks. Bye.